Hi, if you're here, that means you're probably wondering about some of the pitfalls of federal portability when it comes to estate tax planning. There's a number of pitfalls of relying on portability that I want to cover for you quickly. One of the most common pitfalls we see with portability is, one, it doesn't apply to Minnesota estate taxes. Portability is only a federal thing, so it doesn't apply to Minnesota. And Minnesota has a much lower estate tax exemption of only $1 million. So if your estate is at or anywhere near $1 million in total estate tax value, you're going to need to do some planning here to double the amount of the exemption in Minnesota. Portability won't help you. Another issue we see with portability is it doesn't provide any asset protection for a surviving spouse in the way traditional trust planning can. So for example, a spouse passes away, you could put a certain amount of your estate into a trust for the surviving spouse. That would protect the surviving spouse if the surviving spouse was to get, for example, remarried, or have a creditor's claim, or any type of Medicaid spenddown requirement. Portability wouldn't cover that. Another thing we see is portability doesn't help protect your children's inheritance. So if your children, for example, if we use proper trust planning, we could protect their inheritance from their creditors, predators, failed marriages. Portability wouldn't do that. Portability doesn't allow your heirs to lock in certain appreciation on assets the way traditional trust planning can. Finally, another issue we see with portability is it doesn't help for blended families. So if you or your spouse have children from a prior relationship, portability wouldn't take care of that. You would want to have some sort of trust plan in place to manage how the assets would get divided between a surviving spouse and your children. So there are additional issues with portability and estate tax planning. And if you have any questions on that, go ahead and look for our other videos here on portability, or our other videos on planning for blended families or estate tax planning here in Minnesota. And if you have any additional questions, feel free to give us a call. We take calls like yours every day, and we'd be happy to answer your call as well.